Step into America's darkest corners, where history doesn't just whisper, it screams. From a ghost ship's cursed halls to a prison where inmates never left, these places don't just haunt, they hunger. Lights flicker. Shadows move. And you? You're not alone. Dare to uncover the top 5 haunted places in America, if you can handle the truth. Press play, before something presses back. 1. The Stanley Hotel, Colorado's eerie crown jewel. Perched in the misty Rockies, the Stanley Hotel isn't just famous for its grandeur, it's a hotbed of paranormal activity. This 1909 colonial-style hotel inspired Stephen King's The Shining, but its real hauntings are even creepier. Guests report phantom piano music from the empty ballroom, disembodied laughter in the halls, and room 217, where a maid named Elizabeth Wilson allegedly still tucks in visitors after her tragic death in a gas explosion. The 4th floor is a nightmare zone. Children's ghosts are said to sprint and giggle before vanishing. Even staff swear by the unseen party in the concert hall, where chairs rearrange themselves. The hotel leans into its haunted reputation, offering ghost tours and paranormal investigations. But beware, skeptics who mock the spirits often experience mysterious knocks, flickering lights, or even spectral touches before fleeing in terror. Could it be the thin mountain air playing tricks? Or is the Stanley truly a gateway for the dead? One thing's certain, checking out is easy, but leaving the hotel's grip on your imagination? That's another story. 2. Eastern State Penitentiary, America's most haunted prison. Behind its crumbling Gothic walls, Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia harbors a darkness that never left. Opened in 1829 as the world's first true penitentiary, its radical isolation cells drove inmates to madness, and some say their tormented souls never escaped. The most infamous ghost? Shadow Man, a looming figure seen darting through cell block 12. Others report cackling whispers in empty corridors and the phantom clang of iron doors slamming shut. Al Capone's former cell, cell block D, reeks of his expensive cologne, though no one's there. Some claim the gangster's ghost still sobs about his syphilis-ridden end. Paranormal investigators swear the prison talks back, with EVP recordings capturing growls and pleas for mercy. Visitors often feel invisible hands tugging their clothes or hear footsteps tailing them, only to turn and find nothing. Even hardened skeptics admit the air grows heavier near the hole, the pitch-black punishment pit where prisoners were starved and forgotten. Now a ruin, Eastern State's terror lingers. By day, it's a museum, by night, it becomes a playground for the dead. Will you dare walk its halls, or will something follow you home? 3. The Queen Mary, a ghost ship frozen in time. Docked in Long Beach, California, the RMS Queen Mary is a floating palace of paranormal activity. Once a luxurious ocean liner that carried celebrities and soldiers, this 1930s vessel is now considered one of the most haunted places on Earth, with over 50 documented spirits roaming its shadowy decks. The most active zone? Engine Room 13, where a young crewman was crushed to death during a routine drill. Visitors report sudden temperature drops, muffled screams, and the scent of burning metal, as if the tragedy is replaying. The first-class swimming pool is another nightmare, where the ghost of a little girl named Jackie drowns over and over, her wet footprints appearing near the drained pool. But the true terror lurks in Stateroom B340, where a murdered passenger's spirit attacks guests. Lights flicker, blankets are ripped off beds, and an unseen force has been known to shove people into walls. Even staff refuse to enter alone, claiming doors slam shut by themselves and phantom knocks echo at 3 a.m., the ship's witching hour. Is it the Queen Mary's tragic past, wartime service, fatal accidents, and suicides, that fuels the hauntings? Or does the ship itself trap souls in its steel belly? One thing's certain, aboard this ghostly Goliath, you're never sailing alone. For Waverly Hills Sanatorium, where the dead refuse to leave. The moment you step into Waverly Hills Sanatorium, the air changes. This decaying Gothic fortress in Kentucky was once a tuberculosis hospital where thousands died gruesome deaths in the early 1900s, and many believe the patients never checked out. Now dubbed the scariest place on Earth, its 5-story corridors echo with moans from a time when the White Plague had no cure. The infamous death tunnel, used to transport bodies discreetly, still reeks of formaldehyde, with visitors reporting phantom gurneys rolling past them in the dark. But the real nightmare is room 502, where a nurse hanged herself after becoming pregnant out of wedlock. Her shadowy figure has been seen swinging from the ceiling, and her sobs fill the hallway. Others encounter Timmy, a ghostly boy who plays with a leather ball before vanishing into thin air. Paranormal investigators have captured full-bodied apparitions on camera and recorded voices begging for help in empty rooms. Some visitors leave with unexplained scratches, others flee after being pushed down the stairs by unseen hands. Even security guards refuse to patrol alone after midnight, when the building comes alive with footsteps, slamming doors, and children's laughter from empty wards. Was it the suffering that stained Waverly Hills? Or does something darker lurk in its crumbling walls? One thing's certain, this isn't just a haunted hospital. It's a place where the dead still think they're patients, and you might become one too. 5. The Myrtles Plantation, where southern hospitality meets the dead. Beneath the Spanish moss and antebellum charm of the Myrtles Plantation lies a darkness that refuses to fade. Built in 1796 near Street Francisville, Louisiana, this most haunted home in America has witnessed at least 10 murders, but locals whisper the real death toll is far higher. Now, its grand staircases and 4-poster beds play host to restless spirits who refuse to leave. The most infamous ghost is Chloe, a slave who allegedly poisoned the plantation owner's daughters after having her ear severed as punishment. Her spectral figure, missing her right ear, has been seen peering through windows and pacing the wraparound porch. Guests report waking to her cold fingers stroking their faces, only to find their rooms empty. The nursery is even worse, where the giggles of murdered children turn to screams at midnight, and tiny handprints appear on mirrors. But the real terror lurks in the murder room, formerly the gentleman's parlor, where Union soldiers were reportedly stabbed to death. Visitors collapse here, overwhelmed by sudden nausea, while others capture faces in the antique mirrors, faces that weren't there when the photo was taken. Even skeptics can't explain the piano that plays itself or the chandeliers that sway with no breeze. Is it guilt that haunts the Myrtles? Or something more sinister? One thing's certain, this isn't just a historic landmark. It's a house that watches you back.